Ever since the departure of their main striker, a 34-year-old Robert Lewandowski, in the summer of 2022, Bayern Munich now have a new top scorer in the Bundesliga. His name is Jamal Musiala. He's 20 years old and he's already been labeled as the German Messi.
The man of the moment right now.
From Bayern Munich.
Jamal Musiala.
Jamal Musiala.
In his style of play, it's so...
How would you describe it? We don't see many who are able to glide past players like you do.
You know, for a player 19 years of age, it is a huge burden, but it doesn't seem to bother him.
He really is a special talent.
If you've watched Musiala play, then you know exactly what they're talking about. Many of the things that has made Messi great, the close control, the ability to dribble in tight spaces, the art of both playmaking and goal scoring is being replicated this time, not in form of a 5'7" incredibly dangerous Argentine, but in a 6' slender German player who opponents just cannot seem to find it easy to dispossess.
You give him the ball and it's individual brilliance.
But every time he's got the ball, there's 1, 2, 3 players because they know how dangerous he can be.
Musiala has been garnering worldwide traction ever since he made his Bundesliga debut back in 2020.
Jamal Musiala to become the youngest scorer in club history.
And in just almost 3 years later, he's now become so good that he's been compared to a man who many consider as the greatest footballer in history.
He has the ability to dribble. Then he also has the speed to get away from people. He has the vision to find a pass. There's a lot, and I mean a lot, to love about Jamal Musiala.
Of course, he's not on Messi's level and he might probably never be. But with the way he plays, he's easily prototyped a clearly difficult model, which is quite astonishing on its own.
So, we've just been praising you about your dribbling ability, your ability to find pockets of spaces. So the simple question now, you just got to tell us how you do it.
Ask you about the very fact that he has all that skill and he is that age, but he has to know that they need him to perform every time or they're not going to get anything out of these games.
Yeah, on the pitch, he just has fun, you know, he's enjoyed football, you know, every time he gets the ball, he tries to make something happen.
And what's more astonishing is that Bayern isn't even the first elite European club to get their hands on him.
They offered me a trial at Chelsea and I was kind of nervous, I didn't speak the language that good.
But to be able to do that at his age, at this stage...
it's just exceptional.
Mohamed Salah, Romelu Lukaku and Kevin De Bruyne. On the topic of highly talented players, Chelsea painfully has managed to let go in the past. These three for a long time were the top three that their inability to keep in terms of looking at how successful they've become hurts the most. Two are very well on course to becoming all-time Premier League greats by leading an era in which their teams were the two top driving forces in the league, while the other, despite experiencing several ups and downs, is still widely regarded as one of the best strikers in Europe, who even cost the club over 100 million euros to buy back. Now, a new player is set to be added to that list, and his name is Jamal Musiala. Prior to joining Bayern in 2019, Musiala spent 8 years at Chelsea, arriving at the club in 2011 after a brief 4-month spell at Southampton.
My mum had to work. She done her university at Southampton and then we were there for 4 months. They offered me a trial at Chelsea and I thought, why wouldn't I?
Of course, it's Chelsea.
Go to Chelsea, And I was really up for it. I was kind of nervous. I didn't speak the language that good.
Musiala progressed through the ranks alongside the likes of Tino Livramento, Lewis Bates and good friend Levi Colwill. In 2019, around the time when Bayern were aggressively trying to sign Chelsea's hottest wonder kid at the time, Callum Hudson-Odoi, a player who even attended the same school with Musiala, who was 2 years his junior. The club head scout Marco Neppi became aware of Musiala during this period and proceeded to try to lure him away from Chelsea, which they successfully did. But the same cannot be said for Hudson-Odoi, who decided to sign a new contract with the club. The wider perception on why Musiala left Chelsea for Bayern was that the club didn't know what they had, misjudging his potential, and so they simply let him go due to that reason, but apparently that was far from the case. Although there were concerns about his body frame, concerns were never expressed when discussing his talents. In fact, it was understood that Chelsea were ready to hand the young midfielder a scholarship that included a professional contract that became active on his 17th birthday. But of course, it was an offer he never took as he was more convinced of a better development at Bayern than at Chelsea. And so, at the age of 16, Musiala became a Bayern Munich player.
And then when I moved back here, it was, at the start it was a bit hard because it was different to what I was used to in England, but after I'd say a couple months, got used to it and settled in pretty well.
His ascensions through the ranks at Bayern saw him play in the club's under-17 and under-19 before making his professional debut for Bayern Munich's second team in the third tier of German football before the pandemic halted it all. And after the resumption of football in June 2020, Musiala would make his Bundesliga debut, making him the youngest Bundesliga debutant in the club's history at 17 years and 115 days, and from there the only way to go was up. In match day 1 of the following season, Musiala would score his first goal in Bayern's 8-0 thrashing of Schalke, making him the club's youngest ever goal scorer at 17 years and 205 days. He followed it up with goals against Bundesliga's heavy hitters in Eintracht Frankfurt and RB Leipzig during match day 5 and match day 10 respectively. Musiala would finish the following season, the 2021-22, with 5 goals and 5 assists in 30 appearances, 18 of them coming off the bench in a season which his performances was gradually propelling him into the limelight. Fast, tricky, innovative, adventurous. These were the adjectives and likely more used to describe Musiala during this period.
He really is a special talent.
It's unbelievable what he does at his age, the way he does it, is just exceptional.
Although he wasn't yet the main focus in the team, nor with Robert Lewandowski in there, he certainly played his part in Bayern Munich's Bundesliga dominance.
You play for a club like Bayern, you know the standards that are to be held, and the margins for error, and you know that you can be replaced. But somehow, as a 19-year-old, to embrace that in the way that he has, to understand what's around it, and understand what's asked of him.
For a player 19 years of age, it is a huge burden, but it doesn't seem to bother him.
With the ever-increasing publicity he was receiving, it was only normal that he was expected to win either the 2022 Golden Boy or Copper Trophy award, but unfortunately for him, that honor would go to Barcelona's Gavi, a decision which left many fans terribly unhappy as they felt Musiala was more deserving. Long before he got to battle Bellingham and Gavi for the awards, the previous year, Musiala had a mini battle he had to fight. The Bayern wonder kid was of 3 different nationalities. He's English, German, and Nigerian. He grew up in England. He was born in Germany to a British Nigerian father and a German mother. It is safe to say that all 3 nations were closely monitoring his development and would have been happy to have him if he chose to represent them. First, Germany, the nation in which he was born and grew up in before his family moved to England when he was only 7 years old. As mentioned earlier, his mother is German and he was and also is still playing in Germany around the time he had to make this choice.
Joachim Löw, the Germany manager, listen to what Löw said last month. I think he knows one way or another that I want to nominate him. The ball's in his court. It's his decision.
Next is England. He grew up there and even represented them at several stages in the youth setup.
He's come through England's junior teams. He's played for the under-15s, 16s, 17s, and he's won 2 caps with England's under-21s. And so England want to keep him.
Having sort of met him, I think, first off when he was about 13 or 14 in actual fact. We knew he was going to be and is a good player. So, yes, we would have liked him. For sure.
And finally, last but not least, Nigeria. As mentioned earlier, his dad is a Nigerian, which means he automatically qualifies to represent them. He was reportedly even in touch with Nigeria's German manager at the time, Gernot Rohr, who has even gone on record admitting he tried convincing Musiala to join. He's a wonderful player. I met him when he was 17 and spoke with his agent and parents. Around that time, he couldn't make a decision, and then a year later, he became what he is now, and that's all. Realistically, it was clear from the start that only 2 countries were actually in the race for him. And so when it all came down to him finally making his decision, he went with Germany, citing Germany manager at the time, Joachim Löw, as one of the major reasons for his decision. I have a heart for Germany and a heart for England. Both hearts will continue to beat. I thought a lot about this question. In the end, I listened to my feelings saying it's the right decision to play for Germany, but it wasn't an easy decision for me. I have a very good and honest discussion with German head coach Joachim Löw. He showed me a clear route into the national team. Mr. Löw had clearly worked out and analyzed my strengths and weaknesses. He also sees my future in my strongest position of attacking midfield and appreciates my qualities there. Musiala's decision to go with Germany came as a huge blow for England, as it was clear from day 1 that they wanted him. The head of academy at Croydon Secondary School, the school Musiala attended while he was in England, Andrew Martin, also had the same opinion. When Jamal was with us, he had offers from England and Germany. I remember speaking to him about the decision when he was under 15. At that point, his preference was England. Another reason for Musiala's decision, according to Martin, was actually due to the fact that after he left England for Germany, he was able to familiarize himself with the German circuits, therefore increasing his chances of selecting them since he has been able to have a clearer view from both sides. Moving to Germany at 16, he's gone on to the German circuits. Had a year playing in the German academy system. Now he's in the first team, so he's used to playing in that system. In the Bundesliga every week, and unfortunately for England, drifted away from the English system due to being irregular in the country.
Yeah, we'd have liked him to stay, for certain. But when you're training at Bayern Munich every day and you're surrounded by Bayern Munich and German players, then that's a little bit more challenging.
Musiala was subsequently awarded with a spot in Germany's Euro 2020 squad. Musiala will continue to progress as he started to become not just a regular in this Bayern team, but gradually as one of their best players. With the departure of starman Robert Lewandowski, Musiala quickly took on the responsibilities as he's excelling massively in.
But the way he's dribbling, how would you describe it?
He's an amazing player, you know, amazing human being as well. Yeah, as you can see on the pitch, he just has fun, you know, he's enjoyed football, he enjoys his football.
Where he dribbled past 4 Leverkusen players in such a tight area on the edge of the box, nothing is phasing him.
He's even at the time of this recording Bayern Munich's top scorer this season. His manager, up until just recently, Julian Nagelsmann, was full of praises for the 20-year-old. He has unbelievable potential. It's extraordinary. He has great finishing qualities, unbelievable attacking qualities also in his dribbling with the ball. He justified my trust in him. He's doing very well. He has the foundation for an outstanding career.
Maybe in a way Nagelsmann saw that Lewandowski going could unleash in a way maybe Musiala a little bit more, give him a bit more freedom. So maybe when Nagelsmann decided that it was better that Lewandowski left, maybe already the plan was that would give more responsibilities, more freedom for Musiala to step up.
Musiala's ability to hold on to the ball and dribble in tight spaces and his ability to balance both playmaking and goal scoring has been praised by many.
So, we've just been praising you about your dribbling ability, your ability to find pockets of spaces. So the simple question now, you just got to tell us how you do it.
Or every time he's got the ball, there's 1, 2, 3 players because they know how dangerous he can be. And the number of times where I think, oh, he's lost it. And he comes out, there's 2 or 3 players around him, he comes out with the ball. It's unbelievable.
According to Musiala, his best position on the pitch is to play as the left side 10. His versatility is also another incredible strength of his, as he could assume the roles of a winger, attacking midfielder and a striker comfortably at any point in the match, and so it's no surprise that he's being compared to this man. 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar came around. The German went on to have an absolutely brilliant breakout performance at the World Cup. His performance against Costa Rica, in which he completed 13 dribbles in the match, saw him 2 completed dribbles shy away from a record that is currently held by Nigerian superstar JJ Okocha. Another match in which he shined was during the match against Spain, as he came face to face with Barca's 2 golden boys and kept them on their toes for the entire match as he attempted 13 dribbles, completing 9 of them. The fact that he didn't get on the score sheet in any of these 2 matches was a huge mystery to everyone. Nonetheless, goal or no goal, he was magnificent. His performance turned most people's heads, as it was widely agreed that if it wasn't for Germany's early elimination from the World Cup, Musiala would have won the Young Player of the Tournament award that was given to Argentina's Enzo Fernandez. Speaking of Enzo Fernandez, on the topic of Musiala's style of play, his teammate and captain Lionel Messi often pops up into this conversation. He can be the best Messi of the future. He is excellent. I love him for the last 2 years. I love his style of football and I love his personality. He's 19 years old. He's doing the things that will make him a top footballer. He has great passing, he's clever with his thinking, and he loves football. This is Lothar Matthäus' take on Musiala, and he isn't even the only one who thinks this highly of Musiala. Jamal's already very good. He can become world class. He's very advanced for his age. He's full of tricks, unpredictable, and also very dynamic when it comes to controlling the ball, especially with his first touch. He always tries to take the ball forward. He's a very special player. It's clear that Musiala truly has something special in him, and although he's been compared to one of the greats, Musiala will surely carve out his own path, and maybe he could actually become a future Ballon d'Or winner, rubbing shoulders with the likes of Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland.